Capcom has been on a roll lately with remakes.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
They hit it hard with Resident Evil 2 in 2019.
Not do it again!
Then did it again the next year with Resident Evil 3.
Yay!
And, well, maybe not masterpieces in their own right.
Meh.
We'll reserve that title for the originals. They were nonetheless received exceptionally well by the public, and they raised the bar for remakes as a whole.
Pretty good.
So, naturally, when word came out that the most beloved of all Resident Evil games, RE4, was soon to get the same treatment,
here we go again.
The excitement from fans was matched only by the skepticism of its critics.
He does what? You got mental problems! Oh,
Many were looking forward to a hopefully faithful remake of their favorite entry in the series,
Look, guys, maybe it won't be so bad.
Are you serious right now, bro?
you doubt me!
while others speculated on scenes, bosses, or lines that the developers would cut for the sake of modern audiences. You see, a lot of the fans are split on RE4.
You don't say!
The original dialed back the survival horror from its predecessors, leaning harder into non-stop action with the over-the-shoulder shooter vibes.
Get some.
And it sparked endless controversy.
Love it. Hate it.
And it still raked in critical and commercial success.
Not too shabby.
But don't worry, the online debates still rage on to this day about whether or not that shift in pace was a genius move or some ham-fisted betrayal.
Love it. Hate it.
Hell, I bet someone's furiously typing right now,
Margaret is typing?
ready to correct the record and school me on my zombified take.
Uh-huh.
I bet they're also going to try and demonize me by claiming I downloaded a ton of Himbo Leon mods too. Well, there's no evidence of that, and frankly, all I care to say about that is...
No thanks, bro.
Anyhow, to cut to the chase, way more was riding on this remake than the previous ones, thanks to fans' sky-high expectations and the dread that it could tarnish the reputation of what many consider the series' crown jewel.
Am I really gonna defile this grave for money? Of course I am!
So is Resident Evil 4 Remake a worthy heir to the legacy?
Yes and no.
Or is it just a cheap knockoff?
Maybe.
Well, grab your flashbangs and laser pointers, kids. It's time to hit a spooky village packed with zombies, mutants, and worst of all,
A Spaniard? Te voy a hacer picadillo!
Dios mío.
Thank you.
while the core of RE4 remains the same in the remake, numerous modifications to the gameplay, ranging from simple quality of life
Holy shit.
to entirely new mechanics,
Huh? What the hell was that?
have been added to bring the game up to speed for modern expectations, and again, in some cases, the modern audience.
Put a ticket in and make her name it gay!
We'll start by getting some of the most controversial changes out of the way. You know, rip the band-aid off first kind of thing. And don't worry, I do actually have more good to say than bad, so just stay with me here.
Yellow shirt, yellow hat, yellow shoes.
If you've been looking into this game at all, or have played any number of modern AAA titles recently, you've probably seen, or at least heard about, all the yellow paint developers are keen to throw over anything interactable.
Why would you do that?
Well, in the RE4 remake, Capcom splashed bright yellow marks on breakable crates, barrels, and key environmental spots like ladders. Basically like a big neon arrow saying "smash me" or "go this way, dumbass."
Nigga, you retarded.
Some folks love it, mostly brainless journalists and streamers,
Took a shit poster seriously.
because it means less time spent actually engaging with the game and more time spent clip farming or rage baiting.
I wrote a blog post a while ago.
Yeah, they're real stupid.
But others, they're grumbling that it's a little too in your face, breaking the spooky vibe or just ruining the overall art direction. It's kind of the modern equivalent of back when games didn't used to have quest markers or objective tracking.
Oh my god, there's no pins, bro.
Even universally praised hits like Oblivion and Skyrim were chastised by fans of older entries for their dumbing down of the game in an attempt to modernize it and capture younger audiences. For the most part, I think their complaints are completely justified.
Oh, here we go.
Feel free to agree or disagree in the comments, but to me, the yellow paint trend is really nothing more than a design decision purposely curated to appeal to the lowest common denominator of players.
Yeah! Yeah!
They've decided that the average player is just too stupid and too emotionally immature that they can't figure out things on their own.
I don't get it.
And given how the vast majority of marketing is done through social media, often with paid shilling from popular streamers, journalists, or other e-celebs, so, possibly the dumbest demographic imaginable,
I'm gonna stop you right there.
a lot of suits wouldn't want to risk players rage quitting and starting a Twitter controversy over having their dopamine rush inhibited by conscious thought. Bad for marketing, and it's bad for sales.
It's bad for business!
Is it super obvious in this game? Yeah. Does it ruin the game overall, though? No, not really. But it damn sure would have been a lot more cohesive and enjoyable, at least from an artistic point of view, if there weren't some yellow coomer out there painting the landscape with his strokes of genius.
Yellow is ugly.
Without a doubt, some of the most divisive changes in the remake center around Ashley, dialogue pertaining to her, and the remake's female representation in general.
Women.
For example, there are several cut lines where other characters reference her figure.
Small world, eh? Well, see that the president's equipped his daughter with ballistics, too.
How rude! And I don't believe there's any relevance with my figure and my standing.
Or the fact that she now wears a skirt instead of an actual skirt. And before you ask, yes, you could peek up her skirt in the original and she'd call you a pervert.
What are you looking at?
He's freaking pervert.
Relax, relax. Despite what some people have claimed online, Ashley is and always was 20 years old and a college student. Regardless, these changes have been explained by the developers in Capcom as a way to keep the game's tone a little more grounded and serious. But a lot of critics are saying it's just another example of modern era censorship. And they're probably right.
He took this from you!
You bastard!
I mean, I'm not gonna hop on a soapbox about this or anything. As far as I can tell, this is still less egregious than smearing yellow paint on everything. But I will say that I don't think any of these particular sexist or objectifying parts of the original are anything more than lighthearted, perversely comedic bits of fan service.
It wasn't even funny, and I have a great sense of humor.
It's really no different than anime.
You
have to keep in mind that whether you like it or not, Capcom is a Japanese company, and Resident Evil is a Japanese series. It's going to have zany, perverted Japanese content. And that ridiculousness is part of the appeal of the original game. To purposefully remove these things in order to appease demographics that probably aren't even interested in the franchise in the first place.
I know, you're a feminist, and I think that's adorable.
And are likely the very same people who will chastise developers for creating unrealistic female beauty standards, while then going to help make Love in Deep Space one of the most lucrative video games ever.
It's gay?
You've been canceled.
Well, it says to me that the devs and these fans care more about chasing money and political correctness than they do about actually appeasing the people who buy the game. Again, I don't think any of this ruins the game at all, but I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up considering how this and the yellow paint debacle are two of the game's biggest complaints from its critics. Say goodbye to the old days of standing still like a mannequin. In the remake, Leon can fire and move at the same time. It's smoother, faster, and makes it feel like a proper action star instead of a sitting duck waiting to eat the wrong end of a pitchfork. It's also somewhat necessary too, especially considering the fact that on the higher difficulties, the enemies are insanely aggressive, and they will dogpile on Leon's tight little butt in a hot minute. Don't get me wrong, I completely understand the appeal of point and shoot, the risk-reward, the potential scares, but this level of movement feels good. Like I said, the enemies are just as mobile too, so it kind of balances out fairly well in my opinion. Also, Leon can crouch. You can duck under traps, slip through tight spots, or sneak up for a quiet knife kill.
Sleep, gentle hippie, sleep.
And rest assured they haven't really turned this game into Splinter Cell or Metal Gear. Combat is an inevitability, but it's perfect for saving ammo or for those who are trying to inch out a bit more survival from the horror here. It's a nice touch. Nothing more, nothing less. You can now parry enemy attacks with your knife, even the fucking chainsaws. And if you time it right, you can perfect parry and get a free melee follow-up. To balance this out, your knife can break, and it becomes an expense at the merchant, though you can't treat the game like Sekiro and spam parry for everything. And on professional difficulty, they've even restricted it to only perfect parries. So it's a nice balance. Overall, I think these mechanical changes spice up the already engaging combat. They give you some new maneuvers and some options, while also balancing out the new enemy AI and their aggressiveness. I think they nailed it here personally. There are some other things I'm neglecting to mention too, like a few story segments, an entire boss, and a giant rampaging automaton that didn't make it in. But knowing these main tidbits will give you a good enough idea of how the game plays and what sets it apart from the original as a whole. So, with all that out of the way, let's dive into Leon S. Kennedy's zany mission to save the president's daughter from a parasite poppin' cult. Leon S. Kennedy, now a slick government agent after his successful and brief stint as a Raccoon City police officer, rolls into a creepy Spanish village to rescue Ashley Graham, the president's kidnapped daughter. We greet our too cool for school protagonist in the back of a police car with two other officers, who can't help but build expository tension by talking about all the people who go missing near the village you're tasked to investigate. The spookiness intensifies to a Category 1 Spook-E when the senior officer steps out to take a leak and doesn't come back. Once enough time has passed that not even a peep turned poop makes sense, the missing officer's cowardly buddy suggests Leon, Mr. Government Agent, go see what the holdup is. Leon laments the uselessness of his police escort before trudging off into the woods after the missing pisser. And boom, Chapter 1. The game officially starts. So Leon dicks around in the woods for a while, wondering how much due this guy done before stumbling upon an ominous-looking cabin in the woods. And after breaking and entering, he stumbles upon the homeowner and decides to ask him a few questions. In return, this strange fellow decides to ask Leon a few questions himself. Also not finding that funny, Leon then kicks the guy in his head so hard he fucking kills him. As you do. Now that there's nobody left to stop his investigation, Leon then snoops around the cabin until he finds the leak master in the basement. And it looks like he's had a little too much code red. RIP to a real gamer. Anyhow, turns out that guy Leon kicked wasn't dead, and he's pissed as hell. Leon does the right thing and finishes what he started though by gunning him down. Back to snooping. He finds some information upstairs, but is caught lacking by the neighbors who came over to investigate all the kicking noises and gunshots. So he jumps out the window when they try to press him about the murder. As you do. Things go even further south when he interrupts a local barbecue. And when he finds out the meat is pig instead of beef, well, hilarity ensues.
Yeah, I'm funny.
The villagers desperately try to kick Leon out of the gathering, even threatening him with a chainsaw and a good time. But he persists and finds some more clues, mostly pertaining to the villagers who are infected with a parasite dubbed Las Plagas, and their cult called Los Iluminados.
Are y'all with the cult?
Te voy a hacer picadillo.
Yeah, this is it.
Leon follows the trail of loose bingo cards to a nearby lake, where he stumbles upon the village jester, Luis, who is tied up for being way too annoying. But just before he can get some answers out of him about the president's daughter, the village chief shows up, and he hurls our blonde Boy Scout around like a rag doll. Then he injects him with this virus we've been hearing about, and now we're officially at a Category 2 Spook-E, and done with Chapter 1. Leon wakes up chained to Luis, who, come to find out, is not actually the town jester and has been looking into the Los Iluminados cult. As it turns out, he says the villagers have the president's daughter locked up in an old church nearby. The interrogation ends there as the two are rudely interrupted by another villager who needs to ask Leon a few questions.
Okay, that's enough.
But then he winds up having his neck snapped with a chain.
He did.
I guess that beats being kicked in the head?
What's wrong with you? I say he did.
Anyhow, Luis bails and leaves Leon high and dry, resulting in a tense escape from an abandoned factory where Leon puts down a local workers' strike and then finds time to murderize a cliffside village for a key to access the chief's mansion. There, Leon does the unthinkable. He breaks into a house and kills a man, this time shooting him on the toilet.
When you poop in your dreams, you poop for real.
More snooping ensues, this time with a few puzzles. Before the village chief, who we now know as Mendez, interrupts our crime spree yet again, this time to try and talk it out. But before he can get to the part that would really convince us to change our murderous ways, he takes a few bullets to the dome, courtesy of our on-again, off-again girlfriend, Ada Wong. Chapter 2's over. Thanks, babe. Doing a bit of backtracking now, Leon returns to the village only to find out that these villagers have ties to Al-Qaeda, and worse, somebody let the dogs out. Nevertheless, our hero storms on and finds the old church just beyond a small cemetery. After giving the mourners an old Leon Kennedy how-do-you-do,
I killed them all!
he proceeds on only to find out that the church is locked up tight with yet another Rube Goldberg device. This time we have to find some weird dinner plate. Cool. Neat. Definitely not super inconvenient at all.
Fuck.
Whatever. Off Leon goes to the cliffside, high-fiving passerbys as he goes. Dodging trip mines and heckin' puppers you can totally pet at the quarry before stopping by the mysteriously teleporting fence for some new gear. There, he shows off at the shooting gallery until remembering he was supposed to be doing something. Having forgotten what, he heads off to the local fish farm to terrorize some Innsmouth wannabes. They too are no match for his bloodlust and succumb to many kicks to the head, as well as some bullets, before Leon steals their boat to seek stronger foes.
The devil of the deep, the white whale.
And it is there, in the lake, that such a foe exists. The unflushed one. Look, everything I've read says this thing is supposed to be a mutated lizard.
Dumb bitch.
But it really just looks like an angry log left in a porta-john to me. I don't know. Regardless, Leon channels the angler spirit of Bill Dance and manifests many spears in order to skewer the beast and prove, once and for all, they shouldn't have canceled River Monsters because there's no way Jeremy Wade caught one of these things yet. Then our boy takes a nap and the parasite inside of him starts freaking out. Chapter 3, Hook, Line, and Sinker. We have a boat now, and the waters are free of floaters. Life is good. Leon lives out his dream of becoming a cave spelunker, solves some more puzzles, harasses some more locals, before finally finding that missing plate and remembering that he has a president's daughter to save. So back through the quarry to the church, with the plate in hand when, ruh-roh, he's ambushed by El Gigante, the first real boss of this game. Anyway, Leon does his best to deal with the disabled child's hissy fit before he's forced to resort to his standard operating procedure.
Finger bang bang! Bang bang bang!
That's our Leon. The church is unlocked, but wouldn't you know it, there's yet another ridiculous puzzle to solve in order to access the second floor where Ashley is being held. Upon finally meeting the president's daughter, she immediately tries to brain Leon with a candelabra until he informs her of what happened to the last guy who tried that.
That went well.
Thankfully, the little tart couldn't go far because there's an angry mob set up outside the church and they're eager for revenge. Chapter 4, Secured.
Who is it?
It's an angry mob, ma'am.
Hey, guess what? As it turns out, that angry mob was just as susceptible to head kicks and bullets as everyone else. So Leon and Ashley manage to book it back to the village so that they can make their merry way to the extraction point just beyond. This is the first time you actually have to babysit Ashley, but it's really not as bad as it sounds. She does a pretty good job of clinging to Leon like a leech and ducking when Leon needs to pull out the big iron. Plus, you can throw her up to high places to unlock some hidden areas for more loot, or just stash her in a locker or a crawl space for later. Honestly, kinda sounds like best girl material to me. Anyhow, despite Leon's effort to show Ashley why she should never try that shit on him again, Hunnigan, or as I like to call her, Honey Babe, calls in to be the bearer of bad news and inform us that the helicopter is actually a cat and doesn't like getting a little wet. Time to find an alternate extraction point. Leon and Ashley are chased into an abandoned farmhouse that Luis just so happens to be occupying. Leon is pretty pissed about being left in that abandoned factory a couple chapters back, and threatens Luis with a kick to the head if he doesn't start explaining fast. But before the cocky bastard can even utter another quip in response, a raging horde is surrounding the house and giving Leon a taste of his own medicine, breaking in. Ashley is quickly shoved into a hidey hole so Leon and Luis can bond over how much they like kicking and shooting ganados. Just two dudes doing what they love. It's a total bro moment. Good times are had by all. Except for the ganados, of course. Afterwards, Ashley has a woman moment, and Luis explains that both Leon and her have the very same type of parasite inside them as the locals do. But because theirs is at an early stage, it can still be removed. Luis then shows us a cool scar for absolutely no reason at all, then tells Leon he'll help zap their intestinal bug if they trust him in whatever plan he has cooking up. Despite the overwhelming desire to give Luis the roadhouse treatment, Leon realizes he doesn't have much of a choice, and he's forced to go along. Chapter 5, Beef Squashed.
Well, thank God that's over. I was worried there for a second.
Well, Leon and Ashley slip out of the house, have a little chat about Las Plagas with Luis, who fucks off immediately after. They then take the only route outside the village since the helicopter pilot is too busy trying to cash in his PTO or something.
Lazy.
This leads our duo through a cliffside pass that dips into a small mining settlement. As you may come to expect by this point, the way forward is blocked by the need for a key that is inexplicably stowed in some random location. Only this time, the cult has upped their security and added 2 chainsaw-wielding grannies for good measure. Believe it or not, they too are weak to being kicked in the face and riddled with bullets. It's the darndest thing. Leon shoves Ashley in a locker and does what he does best before unlocking the gate and yoinking his young ward through. But just when you thought the fun was over, the village chief is back and he brought some of his boys with him to start up a frantic chase sequence. One evaporating bridge later, the couple known as Lashley stumble upon an old barn that blocks their path. And since nothing bad has ever happened to either of them by entering an old, foreboding building, Leon decides to do the chivalrous thing and check it out first. It's boss fight time. Mendez turns into a Slendy Man for Phase 1, then becomes a Spider Monkey for Phase 2. You'll never guess how Leon solves this problem.
Bang, bang, bang.
And that's Chapter
Bang.
6, Toast. Turns out that path Leon and Ashley have been following all this time has led them straight to, zoinks, a spooky old castle. Things seem to be going from bad to worse until Luis makes good on his promise and informs him that he has a suppressant that can stall both he and Ashley's little plague worms, buying them some time until they can reach a hidden lab to fully remove them. The problem is, they're gonna have to navigate the castle. Unfortunately, this is easier said than done, as it would seem that the residents have heard all about the trouble these two have been causing in the village, because they really roll out the red carpet for them. Torches, crossbows, catapults. But they are kind enough to let Leon borrow their cannon, bypassing what would undoubtedly be another silly puzzle-locked gate. And honestly, good on them for that. That's real nice. Once in the castle, we're introduced to a tiny man in a powdered wig named Salazar.
Gay.
Yeah, okay.
He says he works for the head honcho of the cult, Lord Sadler, and demands we hand over Ashley or he'll keep annoying us with his hideously thick accent.
Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kennedy.
Leon, clearly growing tired of all these freakish villagers and their strange customs, tells Salazar that he can pull his own presidential daughter because this one is his. And like hell if he's playing the girlfriend gotcha game again after lucking out with an S-tier draw. Anyway, then our boy starts blasting, but not before the pipsqueak and his Beetleborg bodyguards peace out. Leon and Ashley then proceed through the castle via its spookiest location first.
It's genius.
Oh no, and look, Leon falls through some loose boards and is now face to face with one of the more intimidating mini-bosses of the game, the Garrador. It's basically Edward Scissorhands if he was dumb and blind. We're now at Category 3, Spook-E. Scary. That said, once Leon realizes he's dealing with another handicapped villager, his ultra instinct kicks in and he gives that cripple the old Dirty Harry treatment from behind. What transpires next is nothing short of an extended Scooby-Doo romp through the castle, replete with multi-step puzzle doors and hidden object scavenger hunts. And don't get me wrong, none of these are brain busters or anything, but if I had to rearrange statues or pull gongs in a specific sequence every time I needed to reset my password,
Stupid.
I'd never log in again. It really makes me wonder about who these cultists actually are.
They're just stupid.
Apparently they have to be master engineers, and they're desperately trying to flex their degrees in medieval technology or something. I mean, how long did it take to even get all this stuff set up? The ROI couldn't have been worth it. Leon solves these things in like, what, 5 minutes? I guess to be fair to the cultists, I'd probably want to kill Leon too after that. Especially if I knew he spent more time suplexing my friends than he did solving my magnum opus.
Cool.
Anyway, the final puzzle's a pretty fun one where you have to play silent scope and protect Ashley from the cultist paparazzi, while she raises a bridge or two so you can escape. This chapter concludes with Ashley being momentarily mind-controlled by Lord Sadler via her parasite, to the point that she tries to stab Leon in the face. We fade to black as Leon begins to calculate where this puts Ashley on the hot, crazy matrix. Leon's ego took a little bit of a hit there, but he did warn Ashley not to try and test him again. It's time to find that little trollop and give her a one-way ticket to a roundhouse. But of course this means we have to circumnavigate what would otherwise be a short trip thanks to, you guessed it, another locked gate.
Shit.
This leads Leon on to a wacky roundabout that sees him breaking up a cultist rave in a wine cellar, having a knife fight with his ex-girlfriend, squashing some bugs, more puzzles, dodging rocks from an armored giant, and then shooting said giant with a cannon. You know, classic Leon stuff. Only after all that do we finally meet back up with Ashley, who's been laying around on the couch crying after having her brainuses scrambled. So now we can't kick her in the head with a clear conscience. Damn it. You win this time. Anyway, who doesn't love a hedge maze full of dogs? Leon. Leon doesn't. He and Ashley speed through the bushes and make it to the main hall of the castle where another statue puzzle awaits them. Leon takes a detour and repairs his shattered ego by impressing Ashley with his shooting skills. Then he takes her on a date in the dining hall before going on the puzzle piece scavenger hunt in earnest. Leon battles some animated suits of armor while Ashley throws fireballs from the balcony. Then the two of them loot an art gallery after dispatching some particularly snobby critics. Upon placing the puzzle pieces on the statue, Leon is finally foiled by one of the cultist's mini traps. Give that guy a medal or something. And now he needs Ashley to set him free.
Run, bitch! Run!
Cue the dreaded Ashley section. Our gal is chased into a pitch-black room by some cultists and has to navigate by lantern light through a library full of animated knights. The worst part? She doesn't have a gun and couldn't do a roundhouse to save her life. It's run or die time. That's right, we have finally reached Category 4 Spook-E. Fuck.
We're gaming, baby, we are gaming.
To her credit, Ashley shows us her best Daphne Blake impression and skedaddles faster than those creepy tin cans can shuffle, gathering up what she needs to escape this thankfully short segment to save our guy from his gilded cage. And what's her reward for all that hard work? Getting captured. Again.
Of course!
But our boy Leon's in too deep to give up now, so guess what we're about to do?
Kill bugs!
How many times are we gonna lose this fucking girl?
A lot.
Do you like bugs? I hope so. There's a lot of bugs in this part. Leon chases after Ashley once his ex tells him they're heading for the throne room. And let me tell you, Dale Gribble would be proud of how thorough our boy exterminates these pests.
Leon!
The exterminator.
Once Leon's done spraying the court, he finds not one, but two cripples waiting in ambush in the adjoining room. They too fall victim to the dirty, hairy double bluff, and our Boy Scout proceeds to the throne room to find Salazar and Ashley doing some sort of weird kink roleplay, I don't know. But before Leon can interrupt, one of Salazar's bodyguards hurls him down a pit, only for him to narrowly avoid becoming a shish kebab. A Leon kebab? A Leon kebab? Oh boy. So Leon navigates a watery cave system full of aquatic bugs before finding a conveniently hidden escape tunnel at the top of some old ruins. But man, is that parasite food poisoning really starting to kick in. Our boy is running on fumes at this point. But he presses forward out of nothing but sheer grit and a desire to dropkick that little prick Salazar. Before he can do that, one of those bodyguards pops out of the vents in his birthday suit to chase Leon through a frozen lab. For once, you can't just wildly shoot and kick. Gotta freeze him first. Then it's hit him with everything we got until he shatters like the world's ugliest ice sculpture. Our condolences. Leon hops an elevator out of the lab and has his parasite-induced schizo attack. Thankfully, Luis is waiting for us at the top with some top-shelf bug spray to keep the beastie down for a while. Chapter 10, Terminated.
Vaya con los lobos, old friend.
Leon and Louise run around an old mining facility trying to avoid the miner 49er, and shooting anything else that looks sentient. To nobody's surprise, the moment they enter the work camp to borrow some TNT, all the dwarves come out of their tunnels to assail our hero and his sidekick. One of them even has a chainsaw. What do miners need with a chainsaw? You know, my suspension of disbelief is eroding by the minute here. Anyway, after making quick work of yet another worker strike, Leon and Louise blow up a boulder blocking their path to the forge. Awaiting them there, however, are two giants that take them by surprise. one of which is super pissed he was shot in the face with a cannonball. But they go down just as easy as before. Leon is packing a literal arsenal at this point, and Luis is there to pull aggro every now and then. What a swell guy. You know, he's really starting to grow on me. I sure hope nothing bad happens to him later on. Anyway, it's a hop and a skip from the Forge to Donkey Kong Country minecart ride time. Luis hands Leon his gun that's modded to have infinite ammo. Fucking cheater. And then the two of them have a wacky ride through the mine while being chased by dwarves and that pesky guy with the chainsaw. But it'll take more than that to get rid of these two buddy cops. So after the minecart ride, Leon tries to impress Luis by showing him how he moonlights as an exterminator. The two of them mow through a hive of bugs and then reach an elevator that'll take them back up to the castle. On the ride up, Luis gives us his backstory that we didn't ask for.
God, I'm so bored!
Explains that he used to work for the cult and Umbrella, and says that he's helping Leon and Ashley because it makes him feel better about his shady past. Wow, he really is a good guy. I wonder what kind of shenanigans these two knuckleheads will get up to next. And he's dead. Major Krauser, our assassin, who is apparently working with the cult, then proceeds to taunt our boy into a one-on-one knife fight. The two then exchange bits of expository dialogue while kicking and shanking one another an inordinate amount of times. The chapter concludes with Leon taking a tumble only to be saved at the last minute by a dying Louise. Our quickly expiring pal then gives us the key to his lab and, with his last breath, tells us to get rid of those damn parasites. Back up another elevator we go. Chapter 11. So long, mi amigo.
Your castle f***ing sucks!
Ready to kick some ass in the name of his dead compadre, Leon ascends from the mine, takes a quick trolley ride back to the castle, and finds himself heading towards the clock tower. Here, he has to avoid more hordes of cultists, flamethrowers, falling boulders, and another goddamn elevator. This time with unwanted guests. It's pretty much a Super Mario Maker level with added guns and gore. I actually love this part. Eventually, Leon makes it to the top, spots Ashley and Salazar, and tears through the nerds trying to see him cuck so he can deal with that dwarf bastard once and for all. Boss fight time. Salazar is kind of annoying, honestly. Easily the worst fight in this game.
It's ugly, I hate it.
This floating piece of mold spits mines all around the room, then tries to blast you with bile every chance he can get. It's a constant case of trying to look up and shoot the fucker while also looking down to avoid going boom. Regardless, he's still not immune to Leon's flurry of bullets. Enough rounds bring him down for a nice poke in the eye, too. Do it enough and you can pop that little pus bubble once and for all. Leon doesn't even have a one-liner for this guy. That's how done he is with all this shit. But damn, Krauser got away with Ashley on a speedboat. Where the hell are we gonna get? What do you mean Ada just shows up and gives us a key to another boat? Alright then, I guess that's chapter 12. It made a big splash.
The plump Asian skank.
Surprise, Ada ditches us again. This time on a heavily fortified island full of cultist paramilitary goons, machine turrets, and rocket launchers. There, Leon has to battle his way through a ridiculous amount of armored Spaniards while trying not to become a pincushion or a splatter on the wall. Believe it or not, despite all their arms and armaments, you know what really seems to work on these guys? You guessed it. At any rate, Leon finds out where they're stashing Ashley. But then he has to find a series of key cards in order to access the cell. Naturally, it couldn't be as simple as finding a single keycard and opening a single cell. That would be stupid. Instead, we have to run around a dark, abandoned laboratory, switching the power on and off, upgrading a single keycard to the appropriate level, all while being chased by Gumby's underbaked brothers, who are, for once, impervious to Leon's flurry of bullets and blows. This is the true survival horror section of the game, and it's worthy of being dubbed a Category 5 Spook-E, the highest honor. When people start to remember this part of the game, they reconsider their runs. It's a nightmare of creepy Play-Doh monsters breathing down your neck while you dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge to the finish. To be fair, halfway through the section you get a scope that attaches to either your rifle or submachine gun, and it allows you to see the parasites swimming around in those dump truck-laden mutants so you can actually send them back to the hell where they belong. But that's assuming you have any ammo by this point. I never let those fuckers get close enough to me to see if the knife worked or not, so
that was a fucking lie.
Claymation phobia aside, Leon upgrades his keycard to the maximum and makes it back to Ashley in one piece. Unfortunately, she's starting to have an allergic reaction to being kidnapped all the time, so Leon has to give her her EpiPen that Luis offered up before he kicked the bucket. What a swell guy. We'll miss you, buddy. And that's chapter 13. Thank God it's over. After a quick nappy poo, Ashley perks up and Leon leads her through the rest of the facility. This whole segment is one long escort where you're running through another old factory full of disgruntled workers, before slogging through the sewers and finding out more Stretch Armstrong rejects, only to then take a break for a fun minigame where Ashley realizes her true calling as a wrecking ball operator. A magnitude more roundhouse kicks and bullets are flying by this point in the game. The horror is pretty much over, and we're now racing towards the finish with one final task to complete before escaping with our lives. Eliminate Sadler. Ah, well, shit. We meet up with him again after another elevator ride, and he mind controls Ashley, again, and paralyzes Leon through his connection to their parasites. Gross. Anyhow, he tries to make Ashley finish the job she started, but she's not far enough gone yet to do it, so without much else to do, Sadler bites his thumb at us and kidnaps Ashley for the final time. Leon is friggin' TO'd by now and is in hot pursuit, ready to bust some heads. But he's caught by Krauser before he can make it too far. This major dickhead has booby-trapped some old ruins and harasses Leon as he navigates through landmines, explosive arrows, and machine gun fire. Krauser pops up every now and then to give Leon a quick kiss on the cheek, but he's more fond of loving on the go than he is sticking around for the long haul. And when Leon finally nails him down for too long, the sore loser turns into a bionicle and tries to cut our boy in half. Not cool. Boss fight time. It's a pretty easy one. Leon dances around, parries a giant tumor blade with his pocket knife, and puts 357 rounds into Krauser's skull more times than should be allowed. Then he goes down to the oldest trick in the book. He did teach us well. Chapter 14 dismissed.
Fine, you sissy girls. I'll do the job myself.
This is it, the final stretch before we catch up to that handsome Squidward wannabe. Leon battles through a final section of the old machine factory, aided in part by an attack helicopter, Mike, sent courtesy of Honeybabe back at the base. At this point, Leon is basically just exhausting all of his options and his ammo, throwing caution to the wind and becoming the ultimate murder machine, shooting, kicking, and blowing up whoever looks at him funny. We've traded the spooky meter for a kick-ass meter, and we're starting that mofo at 11. But all good things come to an end when our brave aerial compatriot succumbs to the bug menace, and he dies a hero's death in a fiery explosion. You will be missed, Mike. Sadler, you will pay for this treachery. Oh, and we'll save Ashley too, I guess. Moving right along, Leon reaches the summit of the island and confronts Sadler, who is trying to do some weird Spanish parasite voodoo on Ashley. And he almost succeeds, until Ada comes in clutch with that switch to provide a distraction and an escape. Already on his last legs, Leon has to carry Ashley to Louise's conveniently located laboratory. But first, he must go through a series of hallways filled with visions of his own homoerotic Rule 34. Praying the gay away, Leon pulls through and manages to hoist Ashley up on the operating table to perform the automatic bug zapper. He then falls victim to his own parasite. The screen fades to black. Could this be the end?
Yeah, well, the opera ain't over yet.
Of course not. Somehow, Ashley comes to and manages to haul Leon's hunky ass into that chair and give him the zapperoo too. It's a goddamn miracle. But that's exactly what these two dinguses need to keep betting on if they hope to make it out alive. And there's only one thing left to do now. In pursuing Sadler, Leon is baited into a trap where they try to rescue Ada. Together, the two of them seize the initiative and light that squiddly bitch up like a 9mm Christmas tree. But that only pisses him off. And finally, we get that climactic boss battle we've been waiting for. Or, well, we would if Leon wasn't secretly packing a rocket launcher the whole time, completely skipping the first phase of the fight. And wouldn't you know it, Ada was doing the same damn thing and throws our boy another RPG just in time for the second phase coup de grace. It's a Christmas miracle. They aren't out of it yet, however, because Ada bids her bittersweet goodbye to Loverboy before escaping on a chopper. It's not Mike. Leaving Leon and Ashley to get the fuck out ASAP before the entire island explodes. After a sick nasty ride on a jet ski, our duo manages to get out just in the nick of time. They watch the place self-destruct, then speed off into the sunset. Chapter 16, Mission Complete. And that's the gist of Resident Evil 4 Remake. From creepy villages to cultists, mutants, and giant anticlimactic monsters. Leon and Ashley went through a lot to make it out alive. God knows that girl is going to need a lot of therapy after all the murder and kidnappings. And Leon, well, he'll probably be fine, or I don't know. Just give him a membership to a kickboxing gym. I bet he'll work out all that trauma himself. I like it a lot. It's super fun, just like the original, and it is proof that Capcom, once again, is setting the bar for how these things should be done. Is it perfect? Hell no. Is it better than the original? No. I think the 2005 release was damn near a masterpiece at what it set out to do. Besides that, some of the things that were trimmed from the remake, like some of the funny one-liners, some of the bosses, they really feel like they could have been kept with just a bit more tweaking and perhaps a little less concern for censorship. Regardless, unless you're a die-hard purist, and there's no shame in that, honestly, I highly recommend giving RE4 Remake a playthrough. Or several. I sure have. Plus, they've even added the Separate Ways DLC, so you can see what Ada was up to while Leon was stomping around. But that's about all I have to say. As always, try it for yourself, and let me know what you think in the comments. In the meantime, a certain ladder and I are long overdue a hot date. Till then, catch you later.